Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a weekly review. So, this is really what keeps your momentum going. And there are weeks that I don't get to it. And that's not a problem because there are crazy weeks or maybe you're out of town. But as long as I do this as often as possible, it keeps me progressing. So, what a weekly review is first a sweep. And what I mean by a sweep is I go to my email inbox and I have a goal to clean it out at least once a week. I love inbox zero. And what I do is I go through all of my emails for that week. And if I didn't process them as they came in during the week and they kind of stacked up because I got busy, I go through and I decide what to do with each email. Either it gets deleted if I don't need it, or it gets an event created from an email, or it gets a task that I know I need to schedule for sometime in the future. And then I just archive it because I've got it captured and I don't need to worry about it and I don't need to clutter up my inbox. If it's something I need to deal with later or I'm waiting for something, I move it to what's called my waiting folder. Otherwise, I get rid of it so that my inbox stays at zero. I do the same thing with text messages. I just kind of scan through my text messages from that week and, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, or I've got this event coming up and I'll create those. I have a stack of physical mail. Obviously, it's not a lot these days, but I stick it in my weekly review folder. And then once a week, I go through that mail and create tasks and events related to that mail. And then you can do the same thing with voicemail. So it's just a sweep. And a lot of this you probably captured during the week, but in case you don't, you just kind of revisit it for that week. And then I click next. So the next thing is basically everything lives here. So you can add things that are missing as you're going through your list. You can adjust what's changed. And then you start your top 3 priorities for the week. Like if I were to only be able to get 3 things done, what would those 3 things be? And you can these are sort of your weekly review questions. What was completed? What was not completed? What needs to move forward? So I first go to my tasks and then, oh, I already did that. So I'm going to cross that off because I already did it, but I forgot to mark it off before. This is something that's due July 1st. And so it moved to the top of the list. So I'm going to add that. Oops, I accidentally clicked that as a completed. So I'm going to I go down and I look at my tasks and I look at my routines that are due. I look at the items that are ready for my projects. Do I want to add a task related to my love life list? Do I need to modify my habits at all? So when I'm looking at this, I realize, oh, do you know what? I already did this and I forgot to mark it off. So I don't need to schedule it for this week. So I am just going to check that off. And then the rest of this is things that I do need to do. And some of them have a high priority. So I've got a son coming home from a mission this week and my friend made a poster. So that's going to be one of my top 3. And I probably need to switch his phone back to his main phone so he has a phone when he gets home. And then I have a report that is super important that I need to do for work. And it doesn't look like it is on this list. So I'm going to add a task and I'm going to say I need to do the Canadian tax report for SPAN. And this is in my work category and it's my consulting and it's a super high priority and it's actually due tomorrow. So I'm going to add that task and I'm going to star that. So if I were to just do 3 things, those are the 3 things it would be. If I look down at my routines, my weekly review has come up for today and I'm doing it right now. I am reminded to water my plants. That's a weekly every Monday. I need to do my meal planning, my weed my garden, muscle mass measurements. That has to do with a goal that I have, and then grocery shopping. And then the projects that I'm working on, I am going to mark those. So once I've figured out that I have everything on my lists that I need, I open my weekly planner. And what this does is my connected calendars show up with all of the invites. So you can see the areas that are available. Now, obviously, I have my son's flight information. That means I could actually drag and drop things in those spots. They're technically not busy spots, but this is how I would do it. So my weekly review is actually happening like Sunday at 2. I do need to reconcile my bank accounts. I could choose to do that. It's due June 5th. Oh, that was due June 5th because I haven't done June's yet. So I could find a spot to do that if I think it's a priority, or maybe I just wait, but I could do that. Maybe I could do that right there. Oh, it's blocking me because, oh, I gotta fix that. These are the things that I need to find out. Anyway, I could reconcile bank account. That thing is not showing as free. That's why it's not letting me do that. I need to do this work task, order Bryson's poster. So one of the things I can do when I'm dragging and dropping, I could say, I just need to do that on Monday, but it doesn't need to be a specific time. And I've got it up there. So when I mark it off, it's going to basically block or mark off one of my top priorities. And I need to switch Bryson's phone back. I'll just add that to any time on Monday. The Canadian tax report, I actually did add it as an event. So that one is an event, but because I don't have a meeting, it more than likely would have been a task. I've got other things here that I could go through and drag and drop onto my calendar. I can do that with my routines. I can do that with my project steps. So the gravel around my garden boxes, I really want to do that before I have people over on Friday. So I'm going to throw that into like Thursday or Tuesday evening. And I actually think it's going to take me longer. So I'm going to stretch it to go there. And on any of these that you drag and drop, you can click on them. And no, it's not letting me do that either. It is on that one, but not on that. Oh, there it is. Okay, I just had to click at the top, I guess. So I can make it as free, or I can move it back to tasks, or I can completely remove it from the plan, or I can check it off and check it off that it's complete. And then I need to cut back my boysenberries too. So I'll just throw that on Tuesday evening. My goals, I don't have any actions for my goals right now because my goals are made up of habits and other routines. But I do want to plan my dinners and I want to plan what I'm doing for my exercise, because I have found if I actually write down what I'm going to be making for dinner, less likely I am to eat out. And if I'm going to write down what I'm going to be doing for exercise, I usually follow through. So because I'm doing my planning late Sunday, obviously I'm not going to add Sunday. But for Monday, I can log any kind of meals that I want. Now, I have an appointment later on Sunday, so I think I'm going to do a freezer meal, a crock-pot freezer meal on Monday. On Tuesday, taco salad sounds great. On Wednesday, we'll probably, I can just say, let's do some sheet pan chicken and vegetables. On Thursday, how about we eat out because Bryson gets home. And Friday, I know we're going to have a barbecue because we're having friends over. Oh, I just realized we're having people over for a barbecue on Saturday. So I'm going to create an event and I'm going to say family 4th of July barbecue. And I can put it on whatever calendar I want. So my Gmail is my personal. And I'm going to say 6 probably until 10. And And I could add a Google Meet link if it was that type of an event, but it's not. So I'm just going to add that. Now that will show up on my calendar, and it will also send it to my Gmail calendar, even though I created it in here. And then Sunday, we are eating out because we are going on an Alaskan cruise. So for my exercise on Tuesdays, I always have a bike class that I go to. That's on Tuesdays. On Monday, I strength train. On Tuesdays, I go to my bike class. On Wednesdays, I do some yoga to recover from my bike class. I strength train on Thursdays. On Fridays, I do some more cardio, and on Saturday, I'm going to be on the road, so I'm not going to put anything there. And then you can look at your habits. So once I've done that and I've mapped out my week, then I live in my dashboard. So my dashboard every day just has everything that I've planned, and I can manage that. I can see the same thing in this day planner as well. So if I wanted to go to tomorrow to review what I've got order Bryson's poster, switch Bryson's phone back, and then I have all of these calendar invites. If I want to drag and drop more tasks on here, I can do that. Routines, I see my steps, I see goal actions, I see my love lists, I see my dinner, my strength training. I can make notes. I can write what went well, what can I adjust for tomorrow. There's always going to be an intention up here, and then my habits are tracked as well. So it's all in one place. And this actually works really well on your phone when you have a smaller view. So a weekly review can then become a quick daily review, and an update. You can look at the next day, every day, mark off what got done, look at what needs to get done, and everything is in one place as long as you remember to put it there.